Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sarah and I am an American expat living in Kraków, Poland. On my channel, I upload once a week on Wednesdays actually. So I'd love to have you guys stick around. I talk a lot about my life in Europe, what it's like to be an American living overseas in Europe, and just kind of like what my thoughts are on some differences between Poland and America. So if you guys like this kind of content, be sure to stick around, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So I've done a lot on my channel recently about the differences of Poland and America. I've talked about lifestyle things, apartment stuff. I've even done like a grocery haul so you guys can kind of see what the differences are when it comes to that kind of stuff. But today I thought it'd be interesting to kind of sit down and compare American prices, because I know I've talked a lot about like what it costs to live in Poland, but not necessarily what it costs for different types of things. So today we're actually going to be kind of breaking down some popular food items and going to the grocery store and seeing what the differences actually are when it comes to prices. I will say I just only took the median out of everything. So for here in Poland and Kraków, I took Carrefour, which is, I would say, kind of more of like a mid-tiered grocery store, nothing high end, but also not the cheapest place that you can go. And in the US, I took Walmart because, again, kind of middle of the road. It's not Whole Foods, but it's also not like Winco. So you get kind of a good smattering of different options for everything. Again, this is just like median across the road. And in the US, prices vary. So I took costs from Reno, Nevada, which is actually where I'm from. So this way you guys can see what the prices are like in Reno versus here in Poland. Again, if you were in New York or Los Angeles or even Seattle, things can be so expensive. If you're in maybe Georgia or Alabama, prices would be cheaper. So again, I'm not saying this is what it is for all of the US, just from where I'm from in America and kind of what I've experienced. These prices are just a few days old from what I have found online. So of course, these are subject to change depending on when you watch this video or when you find it. But just as a few days ago, these are the prices from what I found both on Walmart.com and then Carrefour.pl. So again, this video isn't meant to like bash America or bash Poland. It's just informative to kind of see what you can get for your money in Poland and America. And I know that, cost of living is totally different, that kind of stuff. But I was just like so curious when I moved here to see what the price differences were going to look like. And I hope you guys kind of find this video informative and helpful. If you are planning to move to Poland, it might help you kind of budget a little bit. The kind of food I'm showing you is definitely not a meal plan. It is not what we buy every single week. It's just like some different food items that you could find at the store that you might be interested in buying, like some pantry staples, dairy items, meat alternatives, meats, etc. So hope you guys find this helpful, and let's go ahead and dive in. What I'm going to do here is pop up some pictures on the screen and then display the prices underneath them. So we're going to start with pantry items. We're going to start with corn. So you have 2 corns, Poland, America. Your second one, black beans. Oats. Rice. Pasta. Pasta sauce. Flour. Sugar. Coffee. And tea. Again, these are definitely not all the pantry items that you could ever buy, but these are just some of the more common items I feel that most people would have inside their pantry. Second category is produce. So the first one we have on the list are apples, avocado, cherry tomatoes, bell peppers. In Poland, you weigh everything by the kilogram. So when you grab produce at the store, you put it in a bag, you stick it on a weight measure scale, and it'll tell you how much it's going to cost for how much your item weighs. So just like put it on the bag, you weigh it, it'll print out the price, you stick it on the bag, and then you take it to the cashier. Whereas in the US, it's usually priced out per item, or you can get them like in a bag. You do not do the weigh situation in the US from what I have seen in the grocery stores I have been to. Maybe it's different in other parts of the US or other stores, but from what I have seen in my experience, you don't do any kind of weighing your produce before you take it to the cashier. Third category are baked goods. So when you're doing baked goods, I'm really just going to be talking about a few things because in America versus here, it's quite different A couple things I have found that are similar is a loaf of bread, as well as a dozen croissants. Moving on to dairy products, we're going to be covering a few different ones here. The first one is a liter of milk. One are eggs, yogurt, and 16 ounces of cheese. And when I am showing you a few different brands, like for milk, I've chosen just an off-brand. We're not going with like the specialty name brands or anything like that. We are just kind of going with something that is, again, kind of middle of the road, because if you buy the brand name, it'll be more expensive. Again, personal choice on what you want to do. It's just what I'm doing for this video. And when eggs are mentioned over here, in the US, you buy eggs by the dozen. So you get 12 eggs per carton. Here in Europe, you get 10. So I have adjusted the price to equal a dozen eggs in the US, so you can see the cost comparison and have it make more sense. Next category is meat. So if you guys aren't meat lovers, if you're vegetarian, you might want to like skip this part a little bit. The first thing we have is chicken. And the second is bacon. I'm not going to do pork or ground beef or anything like that. We're just going to do two kinds of meats. So hopefully that is kind of helpful. The last category is like frozen / miscellaneous kinds of foods. First one we have is ice cream, juice, and one frozen pizza. Again, this is definitely not a meal plan at all. I mean, of course, it's going to be more or less expensive depending on what you choose to buy when you're at the grocery store, but hopefully this just kind of gives you an idea of what the cost is like for different items that you can find at the different stores, right? So I think it's really interesting to look at the different costs, look at the comparison, and to really kind of see what's cheaper, what's more expensive, and all of that stuff. So now that I've kind of mentioned all that, did any of this surprise you? I would be really curious. I think the thing that kind of surprised me more is that meat is a bit more expensive than I was expecting it to be. I mean, the quality here is really good, and again, we're not choosing like organic types of meat here, right? We're just choosing like normal things that you can buy. And I'm definitely not saying that this is like the most expensive thing or the cheapest thing. Like I was saying, it's right in the middle. So, depending on your situation, you can go cheaper, you can go more expensive. It's completely up to whatever you want to do. But I think it's just so cool to look at what your money can get you in two different places. Of course, you could be making more money, less money, all dependent, but I just think for informational purposes, this is very cool to look at and to kind of note. So let me know in the comments below what surprised you about any of these food prices, and also let me know what you like to buy in your home country, whether, it doesn't matter where you are. I would just be super curious to know what kinds of foods you like to buy and what you put on your grocery list each week. So thanks again, guys, for sticking around. I put out videos every single Wednesday, and I would love to have you stick around. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys next week.